Hello everyone, and regardless if you're coming from the old channel or if you are new here, welcome aboard. If you are familiar with Hearts of Iron 4 on YouTube, you've probably seen disaster saves. And usually the way disaster saves work is it's about a 30-minute video. The first half is going to be taking stock of things. The second half is going to be a montage of some encirclements, and then the respective YouTuber complaining that after 6 hours of hard work they just can't take it anymore and they declare it saved. I'm going to do this a little bit differently. First of all, I'm nowhere near as good as these people, but I do like to tell a story. And today's story is the story of the Axis, which, as you can see, consists of this little bit here. We are the Baltic Unitary State. This save has been sent in by JJT15YT. Thank you very much for that. This is my very first disaster save. And things have not gone well. So let's take a look at the situation in the world right now. The Allies, well, Germany is defeated. Italy is occupied, is part of the Comintern. So the Italians are socialist. And we're what's left of the Axis. So the Baltic Unitary State and the Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere are what's left in the war against both the Allies, which is all this, and the Comintern, which is all that, and the African Union, which is Ethiopia, because Ethiopia is free. So, yeah, interesting. All right. We are called to our country in an hour of need, and sit back, relax, this is going to be a long one. I am not going to rush through this in half an hour because here are the rules. I'm going to give this a try. I haven't tested this. I haven't tried anything. I don't even know if this is doable, but we'll find out and we'll give it our best. Now, the Baltic Unitary State, so the Vapsid fascist right-wing path through the focuses, is, I believe, and I have never even played that, leading towards the of the Finnish identity. So that's the Empire of Finno-Ugria, and for that we can do a couple of we can get a couple of focuses, but more importantly we can get cores, I believe, on a lot of these areas. Now for that, this is going to reach round about from here to here. So we've got some ground to cover. At the same time, we're obviously in trouble because, as I said, we have been called in our hour of need, and the hour of need is dire because most of our population is in the field. We've got about almost 1 million men in the field, and we are already on service by requirement, which is reducing our factory output, and we don't really want to go further into all-out serve, although that would give us more manpower. We may have to do that at some point, but for now that's what we're working with, and we have about 130,000 men left that we could recruit. Our stability isn't great, and our war support could be better. A lot of this comes from convoy raids, bombings, and combat casualties. So there are some things we need to do something about. What are we working with? Well, we're obviously vastly outnumbered. So we'll have to find ways to defend ourselves, to defend what we're currently occupying, and to find ways to expand our territory and gain some more core manpower. I do notice that we are controlling Finland. And again, I haven't actually played. I thought the Baltic Unitary State was just Lithuania, Estonia, and such, but not actually including Finland, which is interesting. But it looks like, yeah, there's no resistance in Finland, so that means we do have some access to Finnish manpower, which is good. But Finland, obviously, in Finland we are being attacked by the Soviet Union. So what I'm thinking, just before looking at this any further, what I'm thinking to do here is to try and for the first part recapture Lapland, Karelia, and these areas, which is going to give us a front with Norway, unfortunately, but we might be able to just cut them off there and focus on taking the northern areas of the Soviet Union and just holding in this area here. So, what do we have to work with? Let's begin by looking at our stockpile. We've got some AA guns, we've got 3 anti-tank guns, we've got a couple of artillery guns, we've got some infantry equipment, which is good. We are short on mechanized equipment. Interesting, we're using half trucks. We've got some trucks, support equipment, we've got 3 light tanks and 100 medium tanks sitting around. Interesting. These are German tanks, Panzer IVAs. Okay. And the light ones, probably just some captured equipment. We are reasonably short on trains, and we do have a couple of naval bombers sitting around, but we're also pretty short on fighters and everything else. Okay, how's our research looking? So let's begin on the front. Okay, we've got the infantry research. It's 1942, by the way. We've got the infantry research done, which looks good. We are researching more half trucks. I'm not sure we need half trucks, but okay. We are very basic on support equipment. And we have no tank research whatsoever. We are, however, pretty good on artillery, except for anti-tank, so that's something that we're just missing. I would not assume any naval research. Yeah, there is no... we've got some early submarines. There's no... we don't really have a navy that we can work with. We do have the 1940 airframe, however. Well, let's see what that looks like. We do not have any radar tech, however, but we are going down the research speed path at the moment. And the industry tree looks very comprehensive. So I believe we have been trying to build ourselves a sizable air force using synthetic refineries by the looks of it. Okay, so what do we have in the field? We have, well, I would say four field armies, roundaboutish, and in one army group. What kind of divisions are we fielding? We've got this one, that is a 21 with infantry with artillery. That's a decent defensive division that we can use. We've got the anti-Soviet divisions, which are 24 with pure infantry. Without any support, so I'm not going to use these, I think. So let's decommission these already. We've got a motorized division, which is a 20 with mechanized infantry. So these would probably be relatively good on defense. So we might be able to use that. As a defensive unit. We've got these guys. They're a little underpowered, but we can use these as port guards, I guess. And we've got 2 cavalry. That's a small one, and this is a smaller one with recon. I don't want this one, so we're not going to be using this. We've got another infantry template, which is a 15 with recon, engineers, artillery. I don't think we can use that because we don't have the manpower for it. We have a marine template, which is quite powerful, 30 with 4 artillery on it. So that might be something we can work with if we have any of these. We've got paratroopers, yeah, not really thinking. And we've got a tank division, the 20 with tank division. So we're going to start calling it that. What are we running? These are medium tanks. So these are a couple of the Panzer IVs, but we can't replenish those. So we call it a Panzer division for what it's worth, because that's what it is. And we will just rename it as such. Yeah, we have a couple of tanks in stock, but we can't really, we can't build any. So we might We might be we'll be able to do something, but I think mainly we're going to be having to rely on infantry. Now, for that, our infantry is a little short on the attack. And we will see what we can do with that. Let's put everything back to normal here. Okay, so what are we actually fielding? Let's take a look at our armies. We've got the... I do like to rename them. That's the first army. And we have... this is the regular infantry template, isn't it? Yeah, so that's a decent infantry template. We've got the second army. And they all have the same color, which is going to be quite confusing. So let's start by giving them better colors. Actually, we're going to give them decent insignia, and that actually makes that a lot easier to figure out. So we've got the first, the second, we've got the third army, which is also this pure infantry. I don't necessarily mind that. I think that's actually quite useful. And we've got the fourth army, which is pure infantry as well. So we do have a decent amount of infantry, and the fifth army is sort of the mixed bag of what's left. So that's the fifth army, and these guys are gonna get the signature, the insignia of the fifth. Okay, so we do have a couple of these mechanized divisions, and we have one tank division. Okay, so that's probably something we can work with, and we've got two marine divisions here. So who's attacking us right now? We are in combat. We are defensive pretty much everywhere, except for these incursions here. So we are getting assaulted by a wild assortment of these are all allied troops, probably. Yeah, these are all allied troops, and we're fighting... we are at war with the Soviets, are we? Yes, we are at war with the Soviet Union. So, yes, okay, so we have some... Interestingly enough, we have some an Italian armored division that's assaulting the Soviet positions here. Okay, all right. So let's keep going. What's our production line looking like? Okay, that's going to be a problem. We will have to do a major rework of our defense industry, because right now our in the early days of the war, our defense industry has been focused very heavily on high quality, high priced equipment, mechanized half trucks, and on the Air Force. Unfortunately, we are extremely out of resources, both for planes and for just general equipment. Given that our army is going to be mostly infantry based, what resources do we have around? Let's see. We do have some steel that we've got at home, plus rubber and oil. That's probably going to be from synthetic refineries, and we are getting a little bit of steel from Finland, but that's about it. So where could we get some more steel? Lithuania does not have any steel. The Soviets do have, but yeah, in the north we have a very decent amount of steel resources. So this is going to be our first. This is going to be our first goal. To try and, I mean, we could try with Sweden. The problem is we don't have a land border with Sweden. So trading with Sweden is actually going to be reasonably difficult. And yeah, the reason we don't have a land border is because the Soviets have taken over most of northern Finland. So we are probably trading via sea, which is not going to be great. What have we... Okay, we will change the policies here for the Upper Baltic Sea. We are allowing transport to go through here. The problem obviously, there's nobody here, so we should be okay. There's a British enclave over here on the island of Åland. That's something we will need to take care of. And we haven't really guarded. We do have some troops in Helsinki. First Army divisions here. They are not necessarily needed. We're going to have to bring them back to the front lines. and deal with naval invasions as they come, because I don't think we can spare much. So what I'm thinking right now is, like I said, to hold in the south. And our first objective, because one problem we're going to have here is supply, because we will have, what's the supply lines looking like? Because yes, we have to get supply across the upper Baltic here, which isn't such a problem because right now there's nobody here. But that can be cut off very, very quickly. So supply coming from the capital is going to have to flow there. We are also very much out of supply at the border regions, and that is probably due to, yes, we are still using horses to transport supply to the front lines. We will have to modernize our approach here a little bit. Otherwise, this is not really, we're not going to be successful. That said, the Soviets are very much out of their supply lines as well, and are far away from anything that could give them supply. So we may be able to push just with infantry. We've got a Hungarian division here, which is probably not going to be particularly useful. Well, we'll see, maybe. But yes, we will try and see if we can do something about the Soviets in the north here. At the same time, we do need to connect. We are holding Leningrad, which is great, but we do need to reconnect Leningrad and such that we can supply over land. So I need to get off all naval action here, because I don't think we'll have much of a navy. We have 5 submarines. That is the Oronis class of submarine, and they are currently all somewhat damaged. So we might actually get them to. We're going to get them to repair. So medium repair priority, automatic split off. And there we go. So we've got Yuri Varga. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but he's the only admiral we have anyway, so he can take care of that. So these submarines are going to be assigned to the... No, let's just give them a... we'll do convoy raiding for now in the Baltics, but I think I'm going to get everything to repair for now. So let's get them all repairing. Our production, yes. So we will stop building. How much Air Force do we have? I'm going through the paperwork on my desk right now, and I think we don't have an awful lot. We have 4 air wings all in total, but all of them are under strength. We've got 2 close air support and 2 fighter wings. So I am thinking the first thing we're going to do. What's the air situation here? Yeah, we are being attacked vastly by enemy planes, and I don't. What are they doing? Yes, they are building. They are bombing our infrastructure. So that's and we are losing significantly in the air battles, probably because we are such under strength. So what do these look like? Let's take a look at our blueprints and see what the fighters are looking like. That is a very ambitious but also very expensive model of a fighter. So we will stop producing these. What is our close air support looking like? Our close air support is actually better suited towards naval strikes, I believe, because these externally fitted bombs are not the best when it comes to just land-based operations. So I think we will decommission those as well. How are we looking on? We've got 72 air experience. So first of all, where do we have the higher production efficiency in the CAS line? Okay. So we are going. Actually, no. This one's got 10 factories on it. We'll see. We'll see. Let's design ourselves a new plane. So first order for the design department, we are going to need a multi-role plane that we can produce in small numbers and use in in regions where the Soviets don't have any air and where we're not facing any kind of opposition. So let us begin with, I am thinking, not this one, but we'll start with the close air support airframe. And we are going to give this a bomb bay. Let's make that 2 bomb bays and a quadruple heavy machine gun. That way it's classified as CAS, but I can send these into area superiority if I need to. And what's our range? 900 kilometers. Do I have extended fuel tanks? I do not. We could reduce the aluminium cost right now. But I think we do have, how much aluminium do we have? We do have some aluminium, so I think for the limited amount of series that we're going to be building, this should be okay. So that's going to be our. We're going to call this the FA. Nah, that's not a good one. I'll have a quick look what kind of naming scheme we should be using here. We are going to call that the Larka Mark 1. There we go. And that'll do for now. So let's begin with that. And then we will switch this over into the Mark 1 Larka, which is a multi-role plane that we can use for a couple of things if needed. And we will delete this one, and we'll see how many, how much do we actually have? Okay, how much aluminium do we actually have? We're extracting 11. We're exporting 6, so we've got about 5 of it. I think we might have to actually go and do the reduction in aluminium. So the Larka. We could throw in the, not electronics, we could throw in the non-strategic materials, which is going to reduce the air defense, but also reduce the aluminium cost. Yep, I think that's, no, that's the Larka Mark 1, and since we haven't started producing it yet, that is outdated, and this is the one we're going to produce. There we go. All right. Nope, this one. Okay. And this should need. This should allow us to go in with 6 factories, because that's the amount of aluminium we have. Okay. Next up, we are building mechanized equipment, which we don't have steel or rubber for. So I think I am going to vastly reduce that production line for now. And we are throwing everything we have at trains, which isn't really going to, yeah, we need more trains. The problem is that's really not going to get us there. We are going to need a vastly larger number of artillery, anti-air. We are going to need support equipment. So let's do it in that order. That can go below the planes. Okay. I would like to have 10 factories on infantry equipment, 5 on artillery, and probably 3 on anti-air. And we can probably do with 2 on support equipment. And we definitely don't want that many on trains. Let's get that down to 5 for now. And we are going to shrink the. Yeah, we are extremely out of materials, especially steel, and that is going to be a big issue. But we can. I'll shrink this down. I don't want to lose the production efficiency. I'll shrink this down to probably. We do have, no, we don't really have the rubber for it either. So let's shrink it down to 3. There we go. Stay on trains for 5, and we're not going to be building any convoys. We've got 170 convoys, or 180 convoys for now, so I think I'm going to cancel that. Do we have submarines? We do. They have no torpedoes, however. Is this one any better? Oh, that's a destroyer. Hang on. Yeah, we don't really have... do we have outdated? No. This is also... Oh, so we don't even have a design for submarines. Do we have some naval XP? No. Okay, so we'll deal with the submarines that we have, and in that case we'll just do the convoys. Have we assigned dockyards for the repair queue? No, we need to do that, otherwise we'll never repair anything. Oh, do we have... oh, we seem to have some German ship. We have the Deutschland. Okay, interesting. So we do have some parts of the German Navy. Where is it? Oh, over here. Yep, we've got some parts of the German Navy sitting over there. That is not a good position for them. Let's bring them over here. And for that, I would probably need to switch to the naval view. And is this actually ours? Or is this... Can we control this? No. So this is just a German exile task force of some description that's sitting here. And we can't really do an awful lot. Can we? No. So I don't actually have any control over these. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So they can repair if they want. We do have some free military factories, but we don't have any material to build anything. We do need trucks. So let's get trucks going. Where are they? Here. And that needs to move down. Trains are more important. And we probably want 5 factories on trucks. Okay. We do have more military factories. The problem is we don't have any materials to do anything with it. So right now I'm just going to concentrate on solving our steel problems. Are we trading for steel? We are currently trading. Why are we trading for tungsten? We don't want to trade for tungsten. Let us see if we can. Yeah, the problem is no one's going to trade with us except Sweden, and we can't. How many civilian factories? We've got 35 factories. Yeah, we probably don't want to get that much. Let's see how much we can get out of Sweden. But yes, we will have to capture. We will definitely have to make a move in the north. All right. Next up, let us take a look at what else we've got. We do have a light air company. We do have the design company for infantry equipment. That is good. We do have a chief of army who is out of supply penalties. Okay, I can work with that. And we've got an infantry expert, which is also good. We don't have anybody else here, however. And we don't have a national focus running. Is there something we can do? We can mobilize the veterans. Division training time minus 15%. Okay, we're probably not going to be training any divisions for any time soon. What we have is what we got. What else? This is all locked out. This is all done. We can request Japanese support. Okay. Yeah. Maybe we may be able to convince the officials to grant us some extra stockpiled equipment. Yeah. How's Japan looking, by the way? Let's have a look. Japan's doing okay. So Japan, as usual, is stuck in the Philippines and isn't making their way through the Samar Gap. But they are making some progress in China, and yeah, that looks pretty good. We've got 172 political power. I would like to send an attaché because that's going to give us additional war support. But for now, this doesn't look like we're going to be able to do that. Let's get back to our Air Force just briefly. And I'm going to start by sending these up north. And We are because no one's contesting us in the north, so we will basically join these air wings together and then make things work. We do have 3 naval bombers. Yeah, not much we can do with that. What else do we need to look at? Construction. Okay, we're not constructing anything right now, and I think what we're going to be needing is fortifications. Now, let us sort out the southern front line for now. So we'll be dropping right down here, but let's see what we are currently doing. So we are trying to reports from the front. We're trying to recapture Kaunas. And it looks like everybody here is extremely out of supply. So that's not really going to happen. They're probably going to be forcing the river crossing here. It looks like we will be pushed out here. But this looks relatively safe for now around Memel. So this is probably a decent, what do we get? Terrain. This is probably a decent river line. Now, we do have cores here, but these are going to be significantly, I mean, these are hills. That's probably not too bad, but I don't see us right now pushing and regaining these cores. It'd be nice if we could, but for now, I think we're going to be using the defensive positions along the river lines. And at least start fortifying here. So let us begin by fortifying Memel. And just making sure that everything here is getting fortified. Okay. The other line we're going to have to hold is, okay, we have fortifications here. So we do have good fortifications in the east, actually, against the Soviets. That is not bad. Although this line here is lacking a little. So let's begin by building these as well. And that gives our industry something to do. Okay. And that means this line is relatively well defended. I don't think they're breaking us here. Obviously, we are vulnerable in the naval aspects. So I am going to, where were my, I had, yeah, two naval divisions are going to be pulled. We're going to give them a fallback line in, actually not in Turku, because that means they need to go across the sea. Let's move them to Tallinn. And then we will plan a naval invasion from Tallinn to this British position here. And once they are, with these 2 divisions, once they are there, we can assign them to this naval order. And then we will try, with the submarines that we have, to get naval supremacy and get them across and invade there. Okay, what else is going on here? This we might be able to. It'd be nice. How's our supply? Okay. It might be really nice to recapture Wilno, but I don't see that happening. There are 7 British divisions that we're not going to break those. So we may have to. We do want to hold on here, but we may have to give up this salient here and hold on to Kaunas and see if we can straighten up the front lines there. But that also means we do need fortifications in Kaunas. So let's get that started. And these divisions need to retreat here, unfortunately. I don't see us holding this unless, okay, we do need to get the supply situation sorted out. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stop sending supply by horse. So instead, we're going to start motorizing our supply lines here, specifically these 2. Now we do have to be a little careful because we only have 800 trucks, but that hopefully will sort out the supply situation in the south here somewhat, and also around the lines here. We do need a breakthrough in the north, we do need to link up the lines with Leningrad here. So do we have fortifications in Leningrad? We do not. That is something we're going to need. And how does it look in the north here? Do we have any fortifications? No. So the next problem is the logistics bombing. We are going to need, but since we are not going to be able to challenge them in the air, we are going to need anti-air. Yes. What is the air region that we're fighting in? It's the Baltic State region, so it's all one region, which is good. And let's get the land fortifications done first, however. I think that's the more important part. Okay. And then next up, let's reorganize our armed forces. So I'm going to start by removing the current orders, calling the generals into the bunkers for a meeting, and make sure that we have everything aligned here. We may have an opportunity. We may have an opportunity to attack in the north. I am going to be thinking about that because the Soviets don't really have any supply. So we might have an opportunity to just kind of cut them off here along the line and then march through the rest, because I don't think they'll have any troops there. And that'll give us, in fact, we could even try, this line is, where are the supply lines? Here. So if we cut the supply line there, it'd be nice to take Petropavlovsk, but I have my doubts that we can push them there. We'll see. We'll see. We might try. So in that regard, we might need a infantry division that is a bit more powerful on the assault. And given that we have very little manpower, we're going to give them ye old skull, and that is going to be the assault division. I am going to start with just line artillery. Let's remove that there. And we're going to go down. We're going to go up to 3 artillery. That's reducing the organization quite a bit, but we'll have a look at that in a second. And these guys also need an engineer company because they need to move. They have support artillery. They have support anti-air, and they are going to need an engineering company. So that's 20. How much do we have? 360. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be doing that. Okay. Oh, the other thing, we are going to need rifles, and I mean old rifles. So these things, we are going to put 3 on that, and let's see what our garrison orders are, because yeah, that's not a great idea. We're going to be using just the cavalry, and they will not be using new equipment, but only old equipment. There we go. And they can take care of any occupied territories. There we go. All right. Cool. So that's done. Yeah, basic infantry equipment, we need that. Officer Corps. Our Officer Corps does not look too great. Our army, unfortunately, is a little bit outdated. So we don't have any land doctrines. I am thinking Grand Battle Plan, because it's going to give us the entrenchment we need to hold against the onslaught that the Allies are going to send against us. And although we're going to get three, we're going to be able to get 3. Or we're going with superior firepower, because these are really not particularly great. Although this gives us 10 defense, 10 orc for infantry. This gives us 10 defense, 10 orc for infantry. Yeah, no, I'm going Grand Battle Plan, because the 10 entrenchment is quite valuable. But before we do that, we will get ourselves a theorist. That's giving us a 10% land doctrine costs discount. And we can also set the spirit of the army to professional officer corps, which gives us 5% experience gain and 5% doctrine cost discount. And I think we're just within there that we can. Next up, I do want the static warfare, because we have to dig in. But for now, I'm just going to get myself some doctrine here. So trench warfare, ground battle plan, prepared defense, okay, and grand assault is going to come up when we can afford it. We've got 65 air experience left. That's not going to be... Oh, it is. Battlefield support, definitely. I think that would be... Well, we could go with operational integrity for interception. I don't think I'm going to be having enough planes to do even interception missions. So I think what little air support we have, we're going to go with this direction. Okay. And we do have enough to give ourselves static warfare. We could get a Spirit of Academy, but I don't think at this stage this is particularly valuable. I'd much rather have the static warfare for entrenchment. Okay, so that's that. We've spent our experience. And we will see if we can convert some of the northern troops into... Especially if we've got experienced troops here. We do have 72 political power left. But I would like to see if we can do something about stability, rather. What are we looking at? We've got the popular resistance, which costs us 10% stability and war support. We're very unfortunate. We do have the better training. We've got the Vapsid youth from the respective movement, which gives us fascism support plus recruitable population. We've got bonuses against the Soviets, which is great. But unfortunately, the communists are trying to influence us as well, which is probably going to more or less cancel out. But that means... oh, we have banned communism. Okay, so that should eventually... sort itself out. And we have Axis investment, which reduces consumer goods, and that's all good. We are on war economy. We can't go to total mobilization, and we also don't have the... We don't have the recruitable population to make that happen. Okay. Probably the very next thing I would love to do. Okay, let's see. We've got another infantry expert, but we already have an infantry expert here. Is that one of our generals? I believe that is one of our generals. That is the General Yuri of the 2nd Army. He is a level 6, so that would be nice to have him as an infantry expert. It would mean, however, that I would have to fire him, so that's a zero-sum game. Who else do we have? We have an artillery expert, but we don't have... we can't get him in. How are our officers looking like? So we've got Otto Heinze here of Army Group 1, and he is pretty good. I think Logistics Wizard is going to be... How much do I have? 37. Logistics Wizard is going to be a lifesaver here. And we're going to give him that. And he is unfortunately already an advisor. So he is an infantry specialist. That is not going to help us in any way. Do we have any other... we have another field marshal who is an army drill expert. Okay, that's also not really helping. And we've got a couple of more inexperienced generals around who are not going to be helping very much either. So let's see, who else do we have? So 1st Army is under Jakson. And he is an infantry expert. And he is the artillery expert. Okay. So we could get him into high command. Unfortunately, I can't. I don't think I can switch out the chief of army. I am tempted to get Yuri into the command. Let's see who else we have. We have Klaassen, who is very new to this, but is a brilliant strategist. Who is he? Oh, he's leading the northern troops. Okay, that's no good. I'm going to need someone more experienced in the north. So we'll change that around. And we do have Brede, who we could make an infantry expert. Let's see who else we got. And we've got Julius Natus, who's also a very new general on everything. Do we have anybody who's better suited? What do we have? We have a politically connected, cautious, reckless, cautious, media personnel, and a career officer. Or we could get the second field marshal to take, although he is an old guard, so it's not a huge benefit that we get out of him. So who among my generals is the most experienced in assault? That would be Klaassen, actually. He's got 5 skill on assault. That is pretty good. And he's a brilliant strategist. So Klaassen is definitely going to lead the northern group. And I think, yeah, he is in the right place. So I believe we had one more. Yeah, we can make him an infantry expert or an ambusher for more entrenchment. Which group is he leading? He is leading these. He's running the 4th army, which is going to be on southern defense. So infantry expert is nice because it gives us 10% attack, but plus 5 entrenchment is pretty nice as well. So I think I am, especially that he's already an old guard, I'm going to give him the ambusher trait. That's going to make him more effective at entrenchment. Alright, so the last thing we're going to do for today, sorry this is starting to be a little bit of a longer episode, is just get the armies organized. So we will have the 3rd under Klaassen is going to lead the push. It's going to lead the push to retake the steel mines in the north. So your goal, if you can achieve it, is to reach. I think Petropavlovsk is ambitious, but your goal is going to be to reach. We'll put it down as a goal for now. Your goal is going to be to reach the Petropavlovsk line in the south, as well as ensure that we are cutting off any kind of Soviet reinforcements in the north. I'm going to micromanage my troops here. Sorry if that's something that you're not too happy with. And I think we will move the. Who do we have? We've got the 1st army. 1st army is relatively experienced, and there are some medals to be had. So I think the 1st army is currently on port guard duties. I don't think that's a particularly great position for them to have. I'd rather the 2nd assault that we're going to have to lead is going to be on this front, and I think for that, although no, these divisions are, the 2nd army can do this. So the 2nd army divisions are on the eastern front, so they are going to be holding the line pretty much. We're here, and their eventual goal is going to be to reconnect. We're going to be economic. We would like to push towards Volgograd and reconnect Leningrad, our supply lines to Leningrad. And then we have the 1st army. What am I going to do with the 1st army? Can we change the 1st army into the. Do we have the artillery? No, we don't. But we could change most of it, at least the most experienced parts of it, into shock troops, and we would have the artillery for that. So let's do that. So these are shock troops now, and we are going to use them. Where are we going to use them? I think to reinforce. We do have to be careful to make sure that we've got sufficient troops left in Leningrad. To reinforce this push here, I think, is going to be the most critical. What standing orders does the 1st army have right now? Oh, they're on territorial defense. Yes, that's fine. That's no longer something that we're going to be able to do for now. And we have to move, and we have to move quickly. So in that regard, I am thinking. Although we do have some First Army divisions, so maybe we'll split our efforts here. So we get these 2 First Army divisions to assist with the assault here. Your task is to connect to Leningrad, and we're going to get the rest of them, which is these 2. That one, we've got one in the north. And I think we've got a couple more somewhere. Okay, let's begin with these ones. They will support the push here in the south and see if we can cut off the Soviet divisions here. So let's get these 3 divisions, and your offensive line is going to be straight here. Make sure we cut off any kind of Soviet reinforcements. If we can, we'll push up to Petrozavodsk, but not sure if we can. And we've got these 2 divisions. Where are you? Oh, they're in the south. Okay, they're helping out holding in the south. No. I'm going to get you assigned. I'm going to get one more division on that line. And I'm going to get the last division on this line. Okay. Although, yeah. And that leaves us with 2 more armies. We've got the 4th and the 5th. Both of which are, the 5th is probably the strongest defensively. And the 4th army is going to be, where is the 4th army right now deployed? So we're going to get the 4th army to hold this line up to Kaunas. And we're going to get the 5th army, 17 divisions at this point. For now, we'll see if we can. We do have that 1 tank division here. We'll see if we can make something happen. If we can make something happen around this front line. So we will see if we can. It would be nice if we could push to the river line here. So let's see if we can make that happen. Otherwise, we will just defend in the south. And we've got. That's 1 more division here. 2 more divisions actually. I think these 2 divisions I'm gonna leave as I'm going to use to defeat this counterattack here. And let's get everybody into place. Let's get all the situation sorted out. And yeah, the situation is dire. Our need for steel is great. Did I set the submarines on? No, I don't think I did. I? There we go. Yep. So that is the first fleet of what it is. A couple of old submarines, but they can make themselves useful. Okay. So in the next episode, we will see, once we unpause, how bad this is. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to complete this or not, but we will give it our best shot. And interesting stories will be told in the meantime. That's it for me today. Thanks, everybody. I hope you like what we're doing here, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.